What's going on, family? I'm gonna wait for y'all to get in here. 1 second. I had to get some water. Peace, family. Today, or tonight, rather, depending on where you are in the world, we're gonna be doing a meditation, and I'm gonna guide you through it. Well, actually, I think I'm just gonna teach you the meditation. Nikita, what's up, beloved? Teach this meditation that will allow for you to truly have a supernatural experience if you have not had one yet. And for me, y'all, that was a game changer. Because for myself, I had always struggled to really get into spirituality initially and connect with in spirituality initially because I never had my own supernatural experience. So after I did have one, man, it changed the game for me. I went all the way in, like meditating every day, literally every day, between an hour to 3 hours, meditating every day, doing mantras every day, candle gazing every day, like just going in with the practice. And by doing that, it allowed for me to have many different experiences. And that's really the major key. That's the major key. One, consistency in general through spiritual practice will allow for you to start experiencing the spiritual world in a way where you may have always wanted to experience the spiritual world. And yeah, if you're able to be consistent and just meditate effectively, because it's really not about the length of time, it's more about the quality of the meditation that you're doing and the intention that you have while you're doing it. Because what many people don't realize, again, is the emotional aspect of it, the way that you're feeling in the moment really does play a role. Because if you're in a space where you can't really, where you're like meditating just because you think it's good for you to do, but you're not meditating because it's in your heart to actually do, then you can't really connect with it in a cellular way. Similar to like bodybuilders. Bodybuilders understand after they have been in it for a while, they had to stop ego lifting because ego lifting doesn't produce the same muscle density and results of moving very slowly through it and controlling the weight and allowing for themselves to really get a good pump in the muscle and really get full extension, full contractions, instead of just trying to boost the numbers, because the two energies are coming from two different places. One is more in stillness, which is the one where they're lifting lighter weight, so to speak. So with that being said, it's very similar when you think about quality. The quality of a workout is similar to the quality of the meditation. And this will be a meditation that focuses primarily on the third eye. It focuses primarily on the third eye. And if you've never done any third eye meditations before, we're going to get you up to speed. If you're unfamiliar with the third eye, is often called the third eye, but in scientific textbooks, scientific literature, it's known as the pineal gland. And that pineal gland has in the past been called the seat of the soul. But something else scientifically that tracks with that pineal gland is that inside of it, it has little magnetite crystals. And in those little magnetite, or when those little magnetite crystals in general are what's known as piezoelectric. And something that's piezoelectric just means that when you squeeze it, it produces energy. So what's actually happening when we're doing these third eye meditations is we're focusing our energy, which is a type of electromagnetic field, just our focus in general. It's why you can feel somebody when they're staring at you. Your aura or your energy is affecting their energy field, and it makes them sensitive. So that's the same thing that's occurring here, even when you put your own conscious intent in your own body. Focusing on your third eye creates a field of energy that then creates a pressure on the third eye, and you'll feel it. It'll feel like a magnetic force orbiting like this in your head. I swear for the Lord. It feels just like this pulse. And as that's starting to occur, those crystals are starting to be pressurized, and then it'll start to produce light. And then this is what allows for when you're in that meditative practice, you'll start to see these different lights. But because now that eye is essentially starting to awaken, when you focus intently and allow yourself to go into a deep meditative state and dissolve, now you can utilize it while being conscious to be able to see things, literally see things, persons, places, things, with that third eye. And by doing this, you're actually weaving a thread that's connecting you back to that spiritual plane. So now your intuition will be more heightened because of that sensitivity. You've been working that muscle. So now you're going to be able to see more clearly the things that are coming into your mind that are just random thoughts, and the things that are coming that are divinely guided, because you're now more sensitive, because you're more still. And as they say, you can only hear God in stillness. See what I'm saying? So we about to get into it. Let me get more water, because my throat's scratchy. But we gonna be all right. Oh, we gonna be all right. All right. So this is how this meditation will go. This isn't like the last one. It was more like a guided meditation. I walked you all the way through it in that manner. No, I'm about to teach you what it is that you need to do. So what it is that you need to do is fully relax. You're going to close your eyes. And if you have not watched my first video on meditation, definitely need to do that because you need to get into a meditative state. If you go look at my last live video, I showed you exactly how to get into a meditative state, how to sustain that state, how to breathe correctly. And even before that, I have another video on the page that just teaches you how to meditate. So you can look at that first if you struggle with just meditation in general. But this one, for the third eye, will start again with you going to a place in your home where you can relax, lay down, sit comfortably with your knees below your waist. Then when you're sitting comfortably, fully comfortably, to where you're not having to keep yourself in any position, to where all the muscles in your body is relaxed. When you on that type of time, now you can start doing a 4-4 breathing method or 4-7-8 breathing method. And if you were with us on our last guided meditation, that breathing method was basically inhaling on a 4 count in your own mind and then exhaling on a 4 count in your own mind. It would look something similar to like this. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So that would be like the 4-4. Or you could do 4-7-8. So you'd be inhaling for 4 seconds, holding for 7 seconds, exhaling for 8 seconds. Now, this will put you in a very relaxed state. You should do that by itself for at least 10 to 15 minutes. It's going to put you in a very relaxed state of being. And as you're doing that breathing exercise, you're going to just with your own consciousness move to every part of your body and relax each part of your body. I'm talking about with your own mind. I want you to imagine that there are mouths on every part of your body. On the tips of your toes is a little mouth. On your heels is a little mouth. On the ball of your foot is a little mouth. Everywhere is a little mouth. And when you inhale, those parts of your body inhale too. This is going to mentally connect you through your nervous system with those parts of your body when you use your imagination. This is why I say the imagination is the greatest tool that we have. So internally, imagine little mouths on all these parts of your body. Because through your nervous system now, you're connecting yourself to all these parts of your body. Then when you exhale, exhale with those parts of the body. So make your toes exhale. It sounds wild, but it's going to put your toes in a very relaxed state of being that they're not normally in, because you don't ever give them that type of attention where you're like, you know what, big toe, I'm going to give you a break. You need to relax. You ain't never did that before. So this is allowing you to put all the different parts of your body at ease. Now, when you're able to do that, you now go into your mind, just, as you're relaxing, just with your own mental, you're going to focus inside of yourself by closing your eyes, and you're going to look to the center, like right above your nose. And this is where the pineal gland intersects. So by just in your own consciousness, after you've relaxed everything in your body, you're going to start, as you're inhaling and exhaling, moving through the third eye with that inhale and exhale. And as you're inhaling, you're going to be inhaling light into that third eye. And as you're exhaling, you're going to feel the third eye expand. And you're going to continue to keep that rhythmic breathing that you've been doing, but just focused here in the mind, in the middle of the head. And with your physical eyes, it's going to feel like you're kind of looking upwards. It'll help you connect with the space better. And then after that, as you just sit there in that space, you have to now allow for yourself to dissolve into the observer. The observer is who is observing you right now as you are watching this live. Because as you watch this live, there is a part of yourself watching you watch this live. And there's a part of yourself that is watching you think about what I just said. And that's the observer. The observer does not have these personalities that we play with. Because if you call yourself a feisty person, feisty is an archetype, an attribute, but it's not you. It's something that you can wear. It's like clothes. You can wear anger, but anger is not you. You can wear happiness. Happiness is not you. You can wear sadness. Sadness is not you. There are aspects of the archetypes that humans can take on, but that observer is still, and it exists in unity with the Creator. So as you're doing this breathing exercise and you focusing right here on the third eye, every time you inhale what I say, inhale light. Imagine light literally coming into the being, going to the third eye. And when you exhale, imagine it expanding. Your awareness expanding. holding your consciousness here still, but feeling your awareness expanding. And what's going to happen is you'll start to see light appear. And as you start to allow for the experience to just do what it does, not judge it, because that's what your personality will do. Since it's not a part of your everyday normal routine, as you start to experience things, you're going to filter it through the regular filter you have, which is what you call your personality. Versus me, who have experienced this now, I'm going to filter it much differently. But because of the training that I've been doing over and over, I realized that I have to step in all of these things more openly if I want to have an experience more quickly. It's like any other relationship. The less vulnerable you are, the less deep the relationship can be. So you have to be vulnerable and go into it and take the risk, so to speak. So that's the same thing that's happening. You're going inward and you're allowing the experience to take place, and you're leaving all your preconceptions at the door, and you're allowing yourself to move into that sacred part of yourself, the part of yourself that's willing to fully submit to the Creator. If you see people who practice Islam and you see the posturing that they do and how they do everything when they make it salat, all of those postures are submissive for a reason, because it puts the soul in a place of service. And when you're in that energy of service, that's what the Creator does for us, no different than what the sun does for us. It just serves. The sun isn't doing it intentionally, so to speak. It's its nature to serve. And when we're our most authentic self, which is that observer, that's how we feel. Full of the divine love, so we're able to serve all the time. And when your body's fully relaxed, it's in a space where it can serve. When your heart's fully open, it's in a space that can serve. And when you're in a space that can fully serve, a lot of the ego stuff starts to fall away, because you're no longer thinking about yourself and what you can acquire and all these other things, all that personality stuff. So I'm helping you just kind of visualize what that'll feel like when you're inside meditating on that third eye, inhaling, bringing light in, exhaling, feeling yourself expand. Literally allowing your body to just sink into the bed if you're in the bed doing this, sink into the couch if you're in the couch doing this, sink into the chair if you're in the chair doing this. And allow this physical body even to feel like it's dissolving. Allow your consciousness itself to just move fully into that space inside of the third eye, and you will recognize that you'll now start to feel the weight of your body. And then you may have the realization for the first time that you are not your body. Similar to if you've ever had a sleep paralysis. And in sleep paralysis, you realize you can't move that body at all, and it feels like you're wearing your body because you can feel the weight of the body. You can feel like you're inside the body. So once you get into this space, you could do it here, or you could do it right before the meditation. But it's good to call on those who guide you and protect you. Not because anything necessarily bad is going to happen, but the guides have been in that space much longer. And a lot of times because of the veil, because, we forget how to move on the other side when we cross over from here consciously. When we do it at nighttime, we don't even think about it. We're in the dream state and popped out. We're already doing all these things. When we're doing it consciously, there's a lot of fear associated because we're not used to consciously crossing over from here to there. So call on your guides. Say, hey, if you're feeling a little nervous, I'm feeling a little nervous, guide me. Take my hand. Help me remember from the state that I'm in currently. Now you're cooking with grease. And now as you just remain in this space, set your intention for what it is that you would like to experience. Whether it's literally connecting and now seeing the ancestors, whether it's just being open and seeing what you'll see, because you will just start to see things. or if there's a particular soul or loved one that's crossed over that you want to connect with. The easiest way to do this again is to open the whole self. Like I said, imagine mouths everywhere so everything's breathing, and you want everything to relax. You want everything to be in a receptive state. Another way of thinking about this is the human body is a lot like a radio. It's designed to receive consciousness in the same way a radio is designed to receive frequency. The information is in the frequency, and then it comes out the radio, and then you might confuse the radio for the frequency, but the radio is not the frequency. The frequency is everywhere. You see what I'm saying? So that's how consciousness is. Consciousness is everywhere, and it can funnel through these particular bodies. So you're just allowing this body to access a higher field. It's a good way to think about it. All these personalities and things that we run, they're just frequencies that we're accessing. Because we all can run anger, we all can run sadness, we all can run all these different frequencies. So all we try to do here is get you in tune with the divine frequency. And when the body is in a receptive state, like I said, now that divine frequency can come through. So you can only get particular radio stations when you're not still and open. You can get some harsh radio stations to come through these bodies when you're not still and open. Oh, but if you open that heart and you be still, yeah, now you can get on God's radio. You dig what I'm saying? Now you on God's time. And it really is this simple. It just requires us to be still. Another analogy. We know that nature never rushes, but everything always gets done on time. And when we see indigenous people walk in their natural environment slowly because they're not tripping. You call it colored people time. It's really being in time, in alignment with nature, because we're feeling our way through what we're doing, not thinking our way through what we're doing. Feeling, because that's the knowing. The feeling is the knowing, is the intuition. So it's a harmony thing. You're not having to think and calculate and try and align. No, it's already aligned if you just feel naturally your own natural pace. But most of us in this Western world, how we doing? We moving, we got all this stuff to do. We trying to multitask, which is impossible, by the way, whole nother conversation. But we think we multitasking. And really, we just in fight or flight, and we call it productivity. But you in fight or flight. That's what you actually in. You fighting for your life. You scared that you ain't gonna have enough money. You got a lot of money in the bank and still scared that you ain't gonna have enough money. You in fight or flight. Because when you in fight or flight, you can't hear God. Because God not in fight or flight. Nature not in fight or flight unless it's under attack in that moment. And then 10 minutes after the gazelle escapes the lion, it's out of fight or flight again, and it's back walking rhythmically through the jungle, through the forest. And that's how we have to be. We got to move into divine alignment in spirit completely. When you talk to people, if you're speaking very quickly, that means internally there is an anxiety that your thoughts may not get out fully, that you might not communicate your idea fully, or you won't be able to communicate your idea at all. You want somebody to see you and hear you. This is why you're speaking fast. Because there's a part of yourself that isn't content, that's not good with, well, what if they didn't hear me? Would that be so bad? What if I just listened this whole time? Would that be so bad? What if I just allowed myself to be me, so still, so relaxed? I just go with the flow of the conversation. If I feel like saying something, maybe I say something. And if I don't, maybe I just listen. And in that, now when you speak, is all this space, because even as I'm speaking to you now, the power is in the space between the words. It's a cadence thing. It's rhythm again. You see what I'm saying? So when you're in that rhythm, now it's much easier to listen because it's like music. That's the divine field. It's about going into your own natural relaxed pace flow, and then speaking from that honest place. And then that creates a harmony. It's all music. It's all it is. So this is the way to think about what's occurring spiritually. I'm trying to help you understand that this is an emotional thing. The reason that you might not be having success is because you're not feeling. But you know how it is. People like us, we feel so deeply. We express so deeply, so freely. And that's that same part of self. You got to approach this like you was hitting the dance floor. Like it's a joyful experience. You about to see the creator. You should be excited, overjoyed. It's like being with your loved one. When you with your loved one, you not hungry. You ain't thinking about what you gonna eat. Nah, you with her or you with him. You content. Your body feel warm. You feel full. You feel like life couldn't get any better. But why you can't be like that with you? With just you. And you can be if you connect with you again. Because if you breathe like you making love and just them 2 breaths right there changed my whole alchemical makeup inside of me. I swear to God. And if you just breathe like that, slowly, put on some meditation music, just be still with yourself. You start to feel everything inside of you start to transform. But you got to get with yourself on that emotional level. It's a submission thing. It's you and God now. See, you think that you got to be somewhere to be with God. Go do something to be with God. And you see, all I'm talking about is making your body not move, making your body open, stilling your mind, focusing in a point, and then allowing yourself to be so authentic that God appears, because you will reflect back what you are. And when you are authenticity, guess what God is? Authenticity. So you got to drop, if it's a tough guy thing, you got to drop that. If it's a pride thing, you got to drop that. If it's a scared thing, you got to drop that. You got to allow yourself to exist. You dig what I'm saying? So again, that's where I left off. The ancestors calling me and call your spirit guides that you're unaware of, but they're part of your soul family, and say, just hold my hand as I do this. Stay in that meditative state, focusing on third eye, expanding. And you'll see. If it don't happen the first day, that's cool, because you need repetition in order to get that connection in the nerves. Like, have you ever learned to wiggle your ears or move your nose or do like a weirder thing that's harder for people to do? Like, I can move both my eyebrows, right? But look, I'm showing you this for a reason. Me being able to move both my eyebrows, I wasn't always able to do that. I was a kid watching The Rock in the people's elbow, and you know how it was. If you smell, you know how it was, and The Rock is cooking. So he would hit that people's eyebrow. And I wanted to hit the people's eyebrow. And I wanted to do it both ways. And I learned to do it. But when I was first trying to do it, I couldn't like connect with the muscle and the nerves. So I just had to be still with it. And then I started getting the right one to just move just a little bit. And then I could move it. But I just had to sit with it. It didn't just happen, because I wasn't used to being in that space on my face. But then I connected with it via the nervous system, just by just wanting it. It's a desire thing. I'm just like, okay, I want to move my eyebrow like The Rock. That's what I want to do. And then I did it. It just took a little time. But because I knew it was possible, it was open for me to do it. And I learned through that I can train myself to do that in any part of my body. I just have to sit with it. Again, it's like sitting with your beloved. If you really want to have somebody open up to you, well, you got to hold space. You got to hold space and be still and sit with them. And then eventually, if you're holding space and you're allowing space for them to exist, they'll open to you. All the aspects of your body will do the same thing. All the aspects of yourself will do the same thing. All the aspects of your life will do the same thing. You must sit with it in silence, hold space for it, and analyze it, see what it actually is. Stop judging it. That's what's going on. So yeah, it literally is pouring love into yourself. This is the practice we're talking here. So by connecting with that part of your mind, connecting with that third eye, knowing that it's there, I've told you it's real, without question, unequivocally. If you sense the truth in my voice, bravo. If you still doubt, I'm not the one that's supposed to guide you to that, perhaps. But you shouldn't trust me either. You should explore it. When I first heard of it, I believed that it probably was a thing, and I explored it. And in 4 days, it happened for me. But I wanted it too, though. I wanted it better than anything material, because I'm like, why? What's the material if I'm focusing on the spiritual? The spiritual got dominion over the physical. Matter of fact, let's just talk about that for 1 second, because I really need you all to know that. I need everybody right now that's watching. I'm looking you dead in your eyes from my soul. I'm telling you, the spiritual world has dominion over the physical world. But you thinking that by moving things around in the physical world, you're going to change the spiritual world, it's working backwards. That ain't what's happening. Think about what we're doing right now on these laptops, on these iPhones, on these iPads, on these Androids. What we doing right now, we talking through a device, right? Somebody had to create that device. In order for them to create the device, what they had to do first? Think. If they had to think about it, where was it existing first? In thought, in mind, in consciousness, in spirit. So it must be made in spirit before it can be manifest in matter. So to change this reality, it must happen internally and in spirit first. You think by taking on the world and controlling it physically like a video game and moving and positioning things, that you're going to affect the change that you hope to do. But all you're telling the universe is, I like struggling. I love to move stuff around and struggle. Because you got to use magnetism sometimes. It's easier to catch flies with honey, as they say. Look, see how I smile at you, and I smile at you and it make you lean in? Because that's magnetism. Instead of me having to tell you to lean in, and then you like, damn, why you telling me what to do? If I smile, you make you lean in. You can bring things towards yourself. For sure. Are you following? Let me know. Throw some praying hands in the chat if you're following me, if you're digging this. Oh man, I'm loving y'all and I appreciate y'all so much. So I hope that was helpful, y'all. This is an easy way to tap into the third eye. It really is super duper easy way to tap into the third eye. The spirit is really what I'm trying to put into y'all, though. The spirit is the movement, y'all. Like, I was able to have some supernatural experiences because, all right, so in the law of one, and everybody that's in here, I need you to do this too. I'm going to be very clear on what I'm about to say. I personally believe, as a student of spirituality, that the Law of One is my favorite and probably the greatest spiritual text that exists on the planet. To my awareness, put that there. But I've been a researcher for a long time of many different spiritual traditions, and the Law of One, bar none, is on a completely different level. Completely different level. So I bring up the Law of One to say it has many different teachings that it goes over that's in resonance with what we're talking about right now. Hold on one more time, guys. I need to get some more water. Hold on. All right, so I brought up that Law of One so that we could talk about how to move into what's known as the magical personality. The magical personality is the aspect of yourself that still exists with the Creator. It is how we are able to incarnate and manifest the higher self while we are physical. An easy exercise to be able to do this is right now, I'm going to have you move into your angelic self. How are you going to move into this angelic self? We're going to imagine that somebody that you don't like in your life just slapped the taste out your mouth. I want you to sit with that for a second. I'm going to say it again. I want you to imagine that the person that you don't like just slapped the taste out your mouth. Yeah, it's bad. You're probably mad in your mind. You're probably like, how could I can't let it ride? Well, if you have any of those feelings, then congratulations. You're not in your angelic self. And that's okay. But we're going to move into the angelic self, because all I need you to do now is imagine in your mind your most highest angelic self, the part of yourself that lives with God. In your imagination, remember, the imagination is the greatest tool. So I need you to imagine what it feels like to be that most angelic self. The most caring version of yourself. Because deep down in your heart, I don't know you, but I know you care deeply. I know that. I know that some of you, repress it and put things on top of it. And play hard, play prideful, play I don't need nobody. But deep in your heart, whether it's with your kids, or you imagine when you have kids, how loving you want to be, how soft you want to be, how all that vibe. I know you got that in you. I know it's present. So it's that same energy. That same energy of kindness, we'll say. And you move into that space of love and openness. And that's that part of the innocent angelic self, because the creation in its highest form acts in innocence. Because when you're innocent, all you can see is beauty. All you can see is the good, because that's all that there actually is. So the one person, they see a robber and a thief. To the innocent eyes, it sees somebody who's hungry, who's afraid that if they didn't do that, they wouldn't eat at all. You see, the angelic self is never far away. It's just a portion of ourselves that's open. That's all it is. It's just a portion of the self that's open. So all you have to do is imagine that portion of the self and how it feels to be that portion of the self. And in the Law of One, which is why I brought this up, they say, imagine putting on the white robe. And what they're really saying is, in your mind, cross the threshold. It's been scientifically proven, and I'm sure everybody in here will agree, that as soon as you walk out of your front door, there are chemical changes that happen in the body because you're changing who you are to fit outside. So you're putting on your politeness. You're putting on a little bit of boundary for distance to keep some people at bay. You putting on a little different walk so you can attract the opposite sex. And when you cross that threshold back into the house, what you do? Your shoulders drop. You're kicking off your shoes. You're throwing stuff. You're going to use the bathroom. Your whole personality changes because now you back in the regular self. To reach the divine personality is the part of self that's humble. It's the part of the self that submits. It's the part of the self that is in service to the entire creation, as the angels are. It's the part of the self that through feeling the energy of gratitude in this moment, that you can feel that it's a blessing to have a device to be able to have this conversation. It's a blessing that we don't have a really bad terminal illness for those of us who don't have it. And it's a blessing that we still have our legs that we take for granted. It's a blessing that we've gone through so much, but yet we still here. You see what I'm saying? That's the part that you tap into. The part of the self that can see very clearly, it's a blessing. I'm highly blessed. All is well. And that's when you step into the white robe. Where in your mind, when you put on that robe, you assume all the energy that I was just discussing. That in that moment, you become the Christ that you seek. The return of the Christ is through the heart. It's not through another being's flesh. You too can turn the other cheek. You too can forgive 70 times, 7 times, or however the quote is. You too can look at anybody and understand they are trying to achieve comfort. The most wicked of the wicked is trying to achieve a level of internal comfort. Internally, there is unrest. That is why they are trying to achieve whatever their goal is. There is unrest internally. They want to achieve comfort. So you too can look at them and say, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. They seek you through the physical world and not through the spiritual, not through the heart. They too are confused. If they knew like I knew, then they would know you too. Christ already told us that we could do all of that. You just haven't believed that you're able to do that. So the moment you step into that space, the spiritual thing isn't a thing. It's what the energy is. Is alignment with the divinity. By seeing clearly. And you can only see clearly when you can see both sides at the same time. And that can only happen from the heart. The heart is the connection that allows heaven and earth to meet. So the masculine and feminine perspective are unified. So now there's understanding in heart and mind. So now you can see the totality of what's in front of you. And now you can understand everybody's trying to do the best they can from their current level of awareness. So yeah. Well, guys, it's been fun. It really has. I'm going to go to the chat right quick. If you got any questions, let's chop it real quick. If that was useful, man, throw some praying hands up for me. Please share this for me. Share my page, share the information, share love, for real. Share love. Look, I don't need nothing in return. I want y'all to level up. I don't know you, but I do know you. I know that you want what I want. You want peace. You don't want to have to be concerned about bills and some more things. You want to be seen as you are. You don't want to be judged. You want to be able to live from your heart, honestly. You don't want to lie. You only lie because you think you got to sometimes. Or because you don't feel like they're going to be able to hold space for the reality or the truth. So I don't know you, but I know you. Because there's only one being. There's only one mind. And we all just are aspects of that same mind wrestling with different concepts. So because I know you, I know what it is that you're trying to achieve, and that's wholeness and oneness. You did, and it's a path forward. So that's what I want for you, because I know that me helping you get there helps you help somebody else get there. And then that's how we get heaven on earth. It's through just doing this. And just being a reminder, so when you go to work tomorrow, instead of snapping like you might normally snap, take the time to consider the unwellness that exists within them. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Let that ring in your mind. When you get cut off in traffic, if you react in a triggered manner, it means that you don't believe that you're supposed to get cut off. So then you have to ask yourself, well, who's supposed to get cut off? Me? Somebody else in this chat? Or does that just happen sometimes to all of us? Should we get mad when it rains too? And we should get mad when it's sunny as well? See, these are all just the things that happen. And if we actually look at it, the person that cut us off, maybe they weren't paying attention. Maybe they were having a bad day. Maybe they rushing to go to the hospital because their child's being born. Who knows? But for your own well-being, why not make that your reality? That they wanted to be there more than you. And that they lack consideration for the people around them. But why not make space for that to exist? Because we've all not made considerations before. We've all struggled with that before. And we all want grace for our mistakes, because there's no one greater mistake than the other. So why not say, damn, he don't have no peace because he rushing. What I tell y'all earlier, when you rushing, you're not present. And there ain't no peace without no God, and God ain't rushing. So don't rush, baby. Thank you. Thank you for your time and message. I have learned a new meditation technique, and I'm grateful. Thank you, my brother. Philip Merriweather, I appreciate you. Much love to you, sincerely. There are different meditations that can be used, and this is useful. All you got to do is tap in. I appreciate you spending your time with me. For years, I felt the law of mentalism was the most important, but of course, the law of one, with the divine and all that is. Without source, we are semi-unconscious anyhow. Although all the universal laws are amazing to study. Absolutely. I love the universal laws as well. But in my opinion, the greatest law is what you said, the law of one. Because everything is just an aspect. Everything is just a finger pointing to the thing. Even when I use the term love, it could never embody the meaning. You can only understand that to your degree of understanding in your own life, how you've experienced love. But you and I may have experienced love very differently. So even when I use the word is just a finger pointing towards the thing. I'm trying to get you to understand something. So I might try to use even more words like affection and care and passion and desire to try and just encapsulate that. So I'm just pointing fingers. That's all the words are. Just pointing fingers. It's all just a thing pointing at a thing. So, and that's how I see all the universal laws. We're all trying to break down this reality. We're just pointing, trying to make it make sense. But the only way to ever understand it is to stop pointing and to start feeling and connect with everything. And that can only happen through here, the center of the heart. And then everything is touched at the same time. But it can't be uttered. For it to be uttered is to degrade it back to words. So it can only be felt. And this is why I'm telling you, you got to get into your emotional body with your spiritual practices. Thank you, Keisha. I just wanted to help help you understand better. So yeah, I'll hang out for about another 5 minutes. If you want to post a question in the chat, what have you, let's get it. In the meantime, I'll just talk about what I got going on. You can tap in with me for one-on-ones, consultation, medicine ceremonies, or the shrooms. You can always catch me on here as well, lives for the free ski. Okay, I see it. What is your best technique to staying present in that God state throughout your day? My best technique to staying present in the God state throughout your day. I'm just taking a moment to think about that because it's not really a technique for me. I just be on some present time. Meditation has allowed for me to always just kind of, like, when you meditate every day, you're making it your baseline of being, basically. Because if you're doing something for hours at a time, that's going to become more your regular state. So even when you come out of it, you're kind of walking with that. So I guess I would say just consistent meditation, because I'm so calm and peaceful in that space, and I'm knowing that that's my natural state of being. I'm used to being in my natural state of being. So the moment that somebody tries to move me out of my natural state of being, I'm very aware of it. So then I just take a deep breath and go back to breathing naturally again, which is slowly and rhythmically. And then I'm back in the space again. But if my meditation practice is interrupted or I haven't been consistent or something, then it's more difficult to stay in that space, because that space is born of stillness, essentially. Is it really worth reading the Bible even though it's been tampered with? Abso-freaking-lutely. Because we don't need to run from deception. We need to understand the frequency of deception so we know when we're being deceived. No need to run. Stay with it. Feel your way through these things. As a child, I could sense the things that were true in that Bible and false. At 6 years old, I know I'm not the only one, because most of humanity has felt contradiction in spiritual, religious texts and just suppressed it. I just wasn't one that was really able to do that. So it's okay to read the text and see where the wisdom is in both sides. See the ideology of it, and just weigh it up against your own heart, and weigh up everything against your own heart, because if it resonates for a reason. It's in alignment with you for a reason, and it might just be for that season, but that's useful. So Gucci was useful to me in one season. Diamonds were useful to me in one season. Fancy cars were useful to me in a season. Flicks was useful to me in a season. And all of those different things allows for me to be here right in front of you right now, because now I have contrast and context, and I can understand. So I can help another soul in any season. So it's useful. The Bible is absolutely useful, because now when you read the Bible first and you go read the Epic of Gilgamesh, Now you can see, oh, some of these stories is taken from here and it's described differently over here than over there. And you can't have that without contrast. So yeah, for sure. That's my answer, Corey. Yes, I had a natural pushback on certain things. Okay, for sure. You resonate then. Want to learn how to tap into my Akashic record to enhance my healing journey. Is this possible? It is. My I've had some of my guides stop it though. Like I remember I was in my own Akashic records one day and it looked like this is for real. Like my consciousness went to it. And the Akashic records appears differently for different people because it's a field of energy. And that field of energy manifests itself in a way to where you'll intuitively know how to gather information. And mine appeared like it looked like a layer of James Bond's one of the people that was trying to hunt down James Bond. Like it had this huge computer in there and some other things. Like it looked like a mad scientist spot, but it was dope. And then on the other side, there was a rope, like you're in a museum. And on the other side of the rope, it had like a bunch of toys that I played with as a kid that I completely forgot about. And intuitively, I was like, oh, I know where I am. I've accessed my own personal Akasha in my subconscious. And then there was a being in there that was stopping me from accessing other information. But there's reasons for that. Because some of the information in the Akasha, if you access it at this time, it can throw off what you're trying to achieve here. Because if you have all the emotional context of your previous lives, the loved ones you've lost, the heartbreaks that you've suffered, the violence that's occurred, and all of that comes back, when the psyche isn't necessarily ready to recall all of that, when you're already dealing with stuff in this life right now during this collective dark night of the soul, when we're doing all this shadow work, yikes. So there's safeguards in place so you can access your Akasha, you gather the information you need. But the way to do it though, again, is much like this third eye technique that I gave you, because this puts you in a position where your intention is more powerful because now you're accessing your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind is directly connected to the spirit. So that's why you're always trying to entrain the subconscious to manifest stuff for you in your reality. This is why they're always giving you affirmations, and even I have affirmations on my page so that you'll start producing from spirit. So by doing the meditation that I listed here, and then having the intention of wanting to access the Akashic records, and while doing these meditations, the most important thing is to remain conscious, because it's not hard to fall asleep in these states, because you're going to start feeling very like floaty. And as you're feeling floaty, it's going to make you feel like you want to fall asleep. And that's normally what happens at any time there's a new vibration that's a lot higher, you're going to get sleepy. So you kind of have to move your consciousness in a space where even as your bodies you can let your body fall asleep, but not your focus or your mind. And then you'll be able to access that stuff. That's how it is for me anyway. All right, what else is here? All right, this will be the last question I'll answer, and we'll connect again soon. So Ebony Pearl says, I have so many questions, but no one to converse with. Should I consult AI for companionship? It seems counterproductive. So I actually just did a live on my Mind of Bizzle on Instagram, and it was funny because I was doing it for that purpose. I was saying, like, so many people in the spiritual community are always saying I don't have anybody to talk to about these things, et cetera, et cetera. So I just went live and just started talking to people randomly. What you're witnessing right now, the Mind of Bizzle, this is something that was just in my mind. I need you to understand this. This did not exist. I was like you exactly, Ebony. I want you to understand this very well, that I too felt like I wanted to talk to more people about it. But what I did was I created the space. I made a page, the Mind of Bizzle, where I would just share information that was interesting to me. It wasn't about anything other than that. And I just wanted to connect with other people that were interested in it. So by authentically moving in that way, I was able to magnetize those people to my field. And now we're here. So you just have to put yourself in a position to where your tribe can come to you. You get what I'm saying? Put yourself in a position to where you'll magnetize them. They're gonna come. But if you low key with it and you out of sight, out of mind, then it's gonna be very difficult to magnetize that. But if you open the heart and you share, because sharing is what brings it in. Remember, giving is what allows you to receive. So you have to push that energy outward. If it's physical companionship, human companionship that you want to be able to discuss with other people, then you got to like create the space. You got to go to the yoga retreat. You got to, just like right now within this chat, you're here with us. You could easily say, hey, my Instagram is such and such, or my TikTok is such and such, or my email is such and such. I just want to connect with y'all and let's have some conversations. You could create a group chat right now, WhatsApp or anything. But it just requires you to take that one step forward to the creator. For everybody in here who else is an aspect of the creator, take one step back to you. But if you put out that intention, I promise you one person in this chat will at least step right back to you. You did? Oh, the reading list. True, Corey. I mean, I'm going to suggest that. I'm going to suggest the Music of Life, which I have as an audiobook available on my page right now. And I had the Law of One available as an audiobook on my page right now. And I just read it out weekly. I think they both on the 9th. So I think I have like session 9 of Law of One. We up to session 9 being read. And Music of Life, I believe, is also chapter 9 at present. You did. But all right, y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm glad that I could offer some value this evening. If you want to do something for me, all I need for you to do is share. Just share, whether it's share the TikTok, share the IG, but if you can, share the YouTube. And also tomorrow or this evening, share love with somebody, share a smile with somebody. Let somebody know in your life that you for sure know that your life would be different if they weren't in it. I encourage you to just send them a message just saying, hey, man, I love you just because of how you showed up, or just because you exist, actually. Or, hey, sis, I love you just because you exist. Why not? If we all right here did that today, we just changed 34 lives tonight. That's how many people are in this room. So if we all did it, we would affect 34 people tonight. Imagine 34 people in a room all feeling the feeling of joy. That's a powerful group. 34 people protesting in the street. That's making noise. That's stopping traffic. That's the type of joy we could bring tonight. That's how I want y'all to see things. So, open that heart, share love, share gratitude, share my pages. I appreciate y'all. For sure. A night full of awe. I like that. It's all good, Ebony. You don't got to put your life story in there. I ain't mean it in that manner. I just meant, opportunity to connect with like minds. And, you got like minds here, for sure. You did. So we're going to go live again soon, y'all. We're going to go live again soon. When this video goes off and it uploads, it probably take like 30 minutes on the upload. Leave some comments for me. Let me know if there's anything else that you want me to speak on in general, or want me to go live about in general. Yeah. And just, I want to connect. Like I want to connect. I want to connect. And we can continue to build and help each other. But don't forget though, share that with somebody, man. For real. I know in your mind you're like, you know what? Yeah, what he's saying, I'm gonna do that. And some of y'all ain't gonna do that. Not because you don't want to, but you might forget. Or maybe a part of you's like, man, I don't want to be that vulnerable, but you do though. You really want a relationship where you could just be yourself, like fully yourself, and somebody else fully be themselves with you. But remember what I say, you gotta take the first step. You gotta move towards God. God ain't ever moved away. He just waiting for you to step back. Just take the first step. And that's one way of doing that, just by even telling somebody like, hey, I love you for no reason at all, just because you exist. There's no higher form of telling somebody you love them when you tell them I love you just because you exist. That's like how a parent loves a child, not because of what you do. I mean, then I love you just because you exist. Thank you. God did his big one. All right, y'all. I'm out this ting. Love y'all.